Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
And now, let's welcome our main speaker for tonight, Danny T.
All right. My name's Danny. I'm an alcoholic. And I was kind of hoping to see Jack here, my pal, but it's also my sponsor. But I don't really know anything. I'm still wondering, why people keep asking me to talk, because my wife sums it up really good. Like when we're coming to one of these meetings and I'm running late, I'm not real pleasant to live with when I'm running late, And so she will like do stuff like scream out the window, "Get out of the way, we're on our way to a spiritual gathering!" Is that okay, honey? You want me to tell him that? Move! We're serene! So it's like, you kind of need somebody to like keep you, kind of balanced and humble. If you're new, I feel guilty. I'm telling you that much right now. I've been clean and sober for 34 years. My life is an absolute dream. You're talking to a guy. I've been in every penitentiary in the state of California, the ones that were built when I was going to prison, and hit them all, and did very well in all of them. I just wasn't, I hate these guys that, well, I did, but I did. No, I did real well in them, and had a great reputation. That's a good reputation. Was not a pleasant person at all, inside prison, outside, was not a pleasant person. People did not get near me. Fellow inmates didn't get, nobody. It's like, God, because you got to always remember that there is strength in numbers, right? It's strength in numbers, always. It's that simple. I had a guy named Tyrone Rye, the murderer, a guy named Cookie, and another guy named Frog from Wilmington, and they're all murderers. And they were my buddies. And when we hung out together, and they were doing forever. And the reason I can break their anonymity is that they're all dead. And so I wasn't like I didn't have to be pleasant. That's all. I could be a bully. I was a nasty kind of guy, and was prejudiced against everybody. I made no, I had none distinctions. I didn't like Mexicans at times. You know what I mean? Just depending on how I woke up, I got sober. You're talking like this is 1968 when I got sober. I was in prison and trying this thing for the first time. No, wait, that's a lie. I'm sorry. The first time I got sober was 1965. And I just come out of prison. No, wait, that's a lie. First time I got sober was 1963 in prison, and no, wait, that's a lie. First time I got sober was 1959. So it's not like I'm like new at this thing. Been around this program for a long time. know all about it, seen it, all that shit, inside, outside, you know what I mean? And it ain't changed. Everybody keeps trying to tell me it's changed. It hasn't changed for me. I've been here, clean, sober, 34 years, I see some of the same people. I see some of the same people coming in. I watch people work perfect programs every time they come back, And I just know that I could have stayed in 1959. See? In 1959, I could have stayed. I am a firm believer. I'm glad. Well, I wasn't real pleasant in 1959 either. If you think I was bad now, in 1959, in fact, it was a Friday night. It was a Friday night. There was about 20 of us cruising around in Pacoima, a whole carload, and we're like cruising around, looking for parties, and we seen this old house right on the corner of Lev Street and Van Nuys Boulevard, and there was like 30 cars parked out in front of this house. Now, in that neighborhood, that's Pacoima, 2 cars in front of any house means they got guests. You know what I mean? And there's like 30. It's a big old one of those old craftsman's house right on the corner, and you're having a party in Pacoima, the murder capital of the world, and you're not inviting the murderers. You guys, screw you. And we did what we went and we crashed this party. I went to the trunk of the car. We had bumper jacks, tire irons, pieces of pipe. I had a case of beer, 3 bottles of wine, half pint of whiskey, and I was already loaded on Red Devils. Those pills are pills. It's so weird. Every time I say Red Devils, I start getting a headache. It's like my brain's like, oh no, not those, And we went to the door, we crashed this party, because you have to like kick in the door. You can't like knock and, can we come in? No, you're the thugs, and they lock the door and call the cops, So we kicked in the door, and all 20 of us just rushed in. And we're standing in the middle of this big foyer living room kind of thing, and the first thing we saw was a big sign that said, "We care." And we had just crashed the Friday night speakers meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The We Care group still there. It's not there anymore because they built the freeway right there. But that was my introduction to Alcoholics Anonymous. And for years I said I got here by accident. There was no accident. I'm standing there holding a case of beer, 3 bottles of wine, half pint of whiskey. I'm already loaded on them Red Devils. And we got like this. See, there's only 2 greetings you can get when you crash a party. There's only 2 greetings. It's very simple. Living on the streets is very simple. That's the problem that we have when we come in here. We think we know everything. I know everything. Do you understand? I know everything. And the reality is we do. Because there's not that much to know out there, drunk. Do you understand? There's not that much to know, drunk or loaded. Piss my pants. I should change. Nah. Decisions, it's simple. Decisions is very simple living out there. Not that hard. You know what I mean? I started getting sick. I need dope. It's very simple. I need dope. It's very simple, see? But, so we come in here with all this knowledge. I'm standing in the middle of this foyer. I got a case of beer, 3 bottles of wine, half pint of whiskey. I know that there's only 2 greetings we can get. Either everybody rushes to the opposite side of the room. That means they're willing to throw this party in our honor. Or they rush to the side of the room that we're on. That means they're not. It's really simple. That's what them tire irons and bumper jacks and pieces of pipe are for. We got the stupidest greeting in the world. We had people coming up going, "Hi, I'm Bob." Case of beer, 3 bottles. "Hi, Ted, how you doing? Just get away from me. I'm running around shaking hands. You know what I mean? God. Left-hander get a hold of you, hold you right, and beat you to death. You know? Get away from me, man. Old bastards. And they're all, and see, the minute I see baskets, I know church. That's simple. Yeah, I seen the baskets. This is church. That means anything that you enjoy doing, you're gonna die in hell for eternity. It's just simple. Anything that feels good is a mortal sin. Anything that you think feels good is a venial sin. So you're screwed either way. You know, church. I didn't like church. All right, let's get out of here, fellas. I turned to get my troops, right? You guys already did that thing, divide and conquer. You had them all in like little groups of 4. This guy comes over to me. This is 1959, see? 1959. This guy comes over and he whispers the curse of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's the absolute worst thing you could do to a drunk. You curse them, see? You just curse them. And I gotta tell you something. I thought of this guy throughout my drinking career. This guy stood in front of me and said, Danny, why don't you put that stuff outside? Join us, man. And I said, come on, fool. Old bastard, I got penitentiaries to go to, man. What's wrong with you? Ooh. Got a car full of pistols. I'm just nuts. And this guy says, Danny, if you leave this program, you'll die, go insane, or go to jail. And notice how quiet the room got right there. Ooh. That was the voodoo of AA right there. You heard it. You've all been cursed. Now what you should have did was what I should have did. When that guy whispered that curse, I should have went, I can't hear you. See, you didn't do it. I didn't do it. You didn't do it. Let me tell you what happened. From now on, everything that happens to you under the influence of alcohol or drugs, you will think, die, go insane, or go to jail. It's just, it happens. Let me tell you, 3 months later, 1959, bam, cops kicked in my front door. Now, no, wait, that's a lie. Bam, cops kicked in my mother's front door. And you know they're pissed when, like, if they kick in the door and it goes off the hinges, but when the frame all comes, they're mad. They're really mad. This is like, no, this is definitely not a misdemeanor they're talking about. It's 1950, and it's so funny. People always talk about slips. About slips. I had a slip. I had a slip. And it's like, almost sounds cute. I slipped Thursday, but thank God I was able to make it back to the Friday night meeting. Bam! I'll get so... Wasted a good slip. I slipped in 1959, got out 1963. Slipped again, 63, got out 65. Slipped again, 65, got out the end of 69. Decided slips are not cute. I heard somebody say that once I take the first pill, fix, drink, or smoke any of that non-habit forming gangster grass, I can no longer guarantee my actions. And that was a perfect example. That was a perfect example. This guy said, Danny, it's like getting hit by a train. It's not the caboose that messes you up. It's the first initial pow. It's that first initial drink. That was my biggest, was that first initial drink. I don't care what it was. First initial little smoke. Only weed. Yeah, right. 25 days, shut up. Give me your money. I'll blow you. See, something is the matter because it was only weed. See? But what that does is once I take anything that affects me from the neck up, I can no longer guarantee my actions. I can. I do drugs or alcohol, and I break out in penitentiaries. It's that simple. It's no big drama about it. There's no big deal about it. You know, some people break out in Skid Row. Other people break out in their kitchen, dead drunk. And I got to tell you something, because I heard something in NA that like really kind of blew my mind, because I was having a tough time. You're gonna have to understand this. Last time I got out of the penitentiary, I hated Alcoholics Anonymous. I knew I had to be here. I hated you guys. And I kept going to meetings, and it seemed like I kept hearing these kids talk. I kept hearing it. First of all, I kept all through my drinking, I kept hearing these old guys talk. Do you understand? And they would get up and say stuff like, I drank for 50 years. Now, if you're 15 years old, you're sitting there going, damn, I got 35 left. Now, booze and drugs have already beat your ass. Been to the penitentiary twice, and you're like, 35 years left? I gotta look like him? See? And then they talk about everything they had. I had a car, a boat, a cabin in Mammoth. My business was thriving. Okay. And I was drinking scotch. And from scotch, I went to bourbon. I think that's a step down. I don't know. I haven't never had either one of them. And from bourbon, I ended up drinking beer. And you're like, okay, it's okay. What's he talking about? See, somebody else. I drank for 55 years. Everybody, 55 years. I had 2 cars, 2 boats, cabin in Mammoth. My business was thriving. I was drinking scotch. From scotch, I went to bourbon. From bourbon, I went to beer. And then I ended up drinking wine in the morning in an alley. Everybody, I'd go, here, I started drinking wine in the morning in an alley. The hell you talking? What you took you so long, you old fart? They talked about all this material wealth they lost. You know what? I thought a mammoth was a hairy damn elephant, and I never got out of Pacoima. I got here and never had a job. The only place I'd ever worked, I worked in the prison laundry, I worked in the prison yard detail, I worked in the prison brick yard, never had a job. And I had to listen to all these old guys talk about. And what else I had? Shit. Oh, wow, what's so bad? I wish I had some of that stuff. See? And then last time I came out of prison, I was kind of really beat up. I just finished doing 5 years, and I'm listening to this kid. I'm listening to this kid talk. And this kid is talking about getting water and pouring it in his father's booze. At first I thought he was mixing a drink. And then he said, so my father wouldn't find out. And I'm thinking about, find out what? That he was drinking his father's booze. Take the bottle, dummy. I couldn't understand this stuff, and I'm listening to all these people talk about all the simple-minded ways that they drank, and I hid alcohol in my toilet. And shut up! Give me your money! That's what I did. So it was real hard for me to identify with anything. Do you understand? Because I never worked. I went to prison a lot. Do you understand? Armed robbers do not have long careers on the streets. It's that simple. They don't like people that stick guns in people's faces. They don't like it. They don't like it when they see your picture on one of those cameras at all. Like that. They can't stand it. And so this last time, I came out, I got a job. I had a job in a wrecking yard. I'm trying desperately to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. And it was so weird that, like, I picked up this little pamphlet, and it said, the getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. And when I heard that, I said, that is it. Do you understand? That is what we've all done. I hate every one of you. I don't like any ethnically financial. I hate all of you, but the reality, what we have in common is that we've all tried getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. I went back and I listened to that little kid again. I listened to that little kid talk about the ways and means he got more. And they were no different than what I did. Do you understand? You know, different in the sense of physical, but not different. Same thing. He was doing this, I was doing this. Other people were same thing. It's the exact same thing. Ways and means, that's all. And I started thinking, wow, this thing started falling in love with alcohol. But I had such a temper. I was so ugly. I was such a mean guy. I went to my other sponsor before Jack. I had the sponsor named Sam Hardy, and I said, Sam, what is wrong, man? I've been out of prison about 3 months. Man, I've been in about over 20 fights, and 4 of those were with girls. Some shit, he's like, and he says, and I remember him. I'll never, because he always had this shit in his mouth. Well, you're not a nice person. I'll never forget that. You're not a nice person. And then he says, in fact, Denny, you're an asshole. I said, thanks for sugarcoating that up a little, you know what I mean? He says, you're just not nice. You're not nice. You still got that prison mentality. Everything about you is what's in it for me. And it was like literally took my inventory. And that is the truth. Ask me for a volunteer. I want to know how much am I getting paid. What's in it for me? I didn't know. See? Asked me to do what's in it for me. He says, you got to start doing things for people without expecting anything in return. And you got to remember, I'm not the pleasant person that you're seeing before you right now. I was not. I was a vicious. God, I'm sitting in Reseda Park. Now you got to understand, I'm in Reseda Park. I don't have a shirt on. I'm not like a rule. I'm standing there in Reseda Park. I'm like looking at this lady, and I'm seeing her have trouble with. She had 2 dogs, and I remember yelling, "Hey, lady! You want me to grab that dog?" And she took off. She left. I was going to help her. And I told Sam, he said, you just do it. Don't you understand? You just do it. You just stop being an asshole. Asshole. Damn hillbilly, and me and this friend of mine cleaned up this lady's yard. And she tried to pay us, and we said no, and we walked away and felt really good. And I started checking this out. I started doing stuff. I started doing the stuff they talk about here, going and picking people up, talking on the phone to people. 12-step, it's so funny because they said, well, you got to go on 12-step, but those were 12-step calls for me. Those weren't, I never helped anybody. I don't think anybody that I went for got sober. My first 3 years, I was, hey, shut up! Just come on! I'll beat your ass. I wasn't like, I wasn't like a real good therapist, you know what I mean? And I drag people to meetings and all the newcomers, I don't even want to be here, shut up! And so I wasn't a good AA advocate. I was just, just dragging people. But it was so weird. I got so used to doing that. I got so used to doing without being asked that it's like that's what kept me clean and that's what kept me sober. And all of a sudden, that's all I did. I worked these little steps. They're very, very hard. Nothing to, just got to write down the sick secret. You got to remember, we're only as sick as our secret. Shh, watch this. I'll get them secrets out. Wow, better not tell that one. Showed him to one guy, threatened his life, told him, I'll kill you if you ever tell anybody. And it's like, from there on, it's like, I remember my first inventory was on the back of a gas bill, and it wasn't even my gas bill, just a gas bill. 16, here. And I thank God that my sponsor wasn't like one of those let's dig deeper kind of people. You know what I mean? He just read, I remember, this is in behind the Allen Nest at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was after the late meeting, the Allen Nest in Reseda, and we lit a trash can on fire, and he read it, you did that, Danny? I says, yeah. Did you like it? It was all right. Well, guess you did. It's here again. And then he read it, and he burned it. He threw it in the fire. And then this is a guy named Frank Russo. And I always say that because he told me never to mention his name. But he threw it in the fire, and then he was going like this. I'm standing there watching. What are you doing? He says, I'm giving all this to God. And I thought, that's the heaviest thing anybody's ever did in my life. I mean, it was just like so heavy. 10 years later, I told him about that. He says, I was just bullshitting. It just seemed like the thing to do. You know what? Everybody I sponsored it, all their stuff is gone to God. They loved it. Wow, it's heavy, yeah. Boy, our sponsor's heavy. You know. But I thank God he didn't think, oh, damn, we have an issue here. Oh, God. Oh, we're going to have to get a survival book on this one here. God damn it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, We're going to have to get into that inner child again and beat the hell out of that little fucker. You know? He didn't do none of that. He's here, there's God, let's go, forgive, pray. That was it. It's like, wow. I stand before you with no secrets. I don't got no secrets. You want to talk about any secret you got, let's talk. I don't got none. See? I just said, thank God. Thank God I got rid of that shit. All I'm doing is running around, going to meetings, talking, working my little steps, picking up newcomers. That's all I did. 34 years. I was about 17 years. 1985, I get a call. I spoke at a Cocaine's Anonymous meeting in 1985. And I thought Cocaine Anonymous was like the cutest thing that ever happened in the world. I swear to God. It's just, but because you gotta remember, 85 was when all like the therapists and the doctors were coming in. There were none of the crackheads, you know what I mean? But there were all those people that like, oh! Might need rehab here, those guys. I went to a meeting, I spoke at a meeting at Cedar Sinai Hospital, 1985. I walked in there, everybody looked like somebody I'd robbed. Everybody, Jesus Christ. And they all, oh God, they all had nuggets and Rolex. They were like I just wanted so good. Just shut up, all of you, drop it, get it, and take it. No, just take it all, and just, I'd leave it outside because I couldn't like steal it for reals. But just to like, there you go. That's what you deserve. And but I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't. That's right. I talked, and afterwards, this kid comes up to me and says, "Danny, I really identified with you." This kid could not have been from a neighborhood near my neighborhood. Do you understand? Didn't have a tattoo, a feather, nothing. You know what I mean? He couldn't have been in a jail that I was near, or they'd have changed his name. Just sets him to something exotic. Laduina. Something like kind of cute. And this kid wanted my phone number, and he's talking about, I've really hit the bottom. And we went like that. I'm looking at a $3,000 Rolex with an Imperial, the real one, the one that goes like that. Not that one. And I'm looking at this thing, and he's talking about the bottom, and I just had an obsession to shut up. Give me, now you're on the bottom, you little bastard. 100 days, I give my phone number. 100 days later, this kid calls me and he's crying. And I'll show you the way things are set up on this program. This kid calls me and he's crying. And he says, Danny, I have 108 days now, and you know what? I really feel like I'm gonna use. He says, I'm gonna. Now, to me, that means he hasn't. See? I'm not a real good person to call like at 20 minutes to 2 because you need a ride home from a bar. I'm not a good guy to call when you're drunk. Because, yeah, you woke me up for a goddamn, oh, give me the address. I'm going to go down there and beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Just hang on right there, you idiot. And don't call me tweaking from your closet. You know, don't. Danny, yeah, I'm in the, be real quiet. I went by your house. They really are out there. I seen a bunch of them. Watch out. Oh, dude, wake me up. And then I'll call you back in about 20 minutes. bitch wake me up. He said, I'm gonna. When somebody says, I feel like I'm gonna, that's almost like God telling them, call this guy. Da-da-da, Captain, save addict. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? It's like, that's simple. You know, and wow, that is so cool. You know what I mean? Anybody's kids, I feel like I'm gonna use it. I said, well, come on over. He said, I can't. But can you please come down? It's about 11:30 at night. Can you please come down here? And Johnny Carson was just coming on. It was 85. He was still, had that lady with the bugs. God, I love it. Why me? Give me the address. I can go down to this, see this kid. I thought it was going to be one of those deals where I wait in the parking lot, he gets a break, comes out, we talk, right? I go to his job, I walk on the movie set of Runaway Train. I walked on this, it was like the funniest thing. It was like everybody was dressed in like prison blues. You know, they all had fake tattoos, you know, born to raise hell. And I was just running around being a complete idiot. Everybody's trying to be like hard, like mother this, mother move over. I'm telling people, oh no, yeah, you'd be somebody's wife. Yeah, they'd marry, yeah. I've been in prison, yeah, they'd make you a girl. That's it, sorry. Really? You know, yeah, absolutely. And this guy comes up and says, hey, do you want to be in a movie? And I said, what do I got to do? He said, do you want to be an extra? I said, extra what? He says, can you act like a convict? Funniest thing anybody ever asked me in my life. I'm expecting somebody to jump out and go, smile, you're on candid camera. Because it's got to be a joke. I says, yeah, I'll give it a shot if you want. They give me them blue pants, you know, them state-issued pants, and some of you I know think you look real cool, and I was made for, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what size they are, doesn't, you know, some people, I just put those state blues on, and they just drape. Damn! And people will, even in prison, where'd you get them pants? Because they just fit good. Just that body, I just got that kind of prison-looking body. And then they give me that shirt, and when they give me that shirt, I take off my shirt, and they see this big old tattoo. This guy goes, oh, here, wait. He goes like this. I'm trying to figure out what damn neighborhood is that? This guy giving me old sign. I wouldn't claim that neighborhood. Yeah, I'm from Squaresville. And then this other guy comes across the yard and says, hey, you're Danny Trejo. I says, yeah. He said, man, I saw you in the lightweight and the welterweight title up in San Quentin. Damn, said, I'm Eddie Bunker. I said, Eddie, and I knew this guy. I said, man, we started. He said, hey, do you want a job? I says, I got a job. They're going to give me $50 for acting like a convict. He says, no, a real job. They need somebody to train one of the actors how to box. And he knew I knew how to box. He said, and this actor has socked a couple of people, so they're a little scared. I said, well, they give me $50? He says, they'll give you $320 a day, Holmes. I said, how bad do you want this guy beat up? No, $320, somebody's got to get beat up. And I figured I'll sock him, I'll write about it and tell Sam. And he goes, no, Dan, you gotta be really careful because this actor's really kind of high-strung. He might sock you. $320, give him a stick. You know, beat me with a bat, shit. And all of a sudden, it's like, it's like they give me this job. People are like, this director sees me without a shirt and comes up and says, you'll be in movies. Okay, and all of a sudden, people are calling me Mr. Trejo. They're asking me if I want stuff. Would you like a cup of coffee, Mr. Trejo? I said, yeah. 2 cups. And some juice. And a Coke. Just bring a 6-pack of Cokes. I'm just, gosh, all of a sudden these people are treating me completely different. I think something's going on here. I did this little thing in this movie. All of a sudden, it's like I get another one. That kid stayed clean, doesn't call me. I don't care. It's unbelievable. People say, wow, you were so lucky. Doing what I was supposed to be doing. That's all. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. See, call me with, I feel like I'm going to use. I'm clean. Will you help me stay clean? Have to. See, I'm not a pleasant person to run into if you're using. I'll tell you that much right now. People on movie sets don't get near me if they're used. They don't get near me because I am. I can beat them up. I don't care. Do you understand? I'm established enough to where it doesn't matter. But don't come out of a bathroom going, don't, hey, did you do coke? Loud. You say it loud. You know, say it. What are they going to do to me? They damn sure can't beat me up. No, I won't tell. I just ask it. Cocaine, was it any good? Boy, stay away from me, see. I love to catch people with like booze on the... Woo, Holmes, it's a little early to be drinking all that, isn't it? See, it's okay. It's all right. What are they going to do? See, anonymity here. See, I don't care. Don't invite me to your job if you've got anonymity. I'm telling you. Don't. Because I'm the worst person in the world to do... Shh, don't talk about the program. You mean AA? Do you mean AA or NA or CA? Which one? See, because it saved my life. How am I not going to talk about something that saved my life? You understand? And all people talk about, well, I've got a second chance. I started in juvenile hall. You understand? I started as a baby and was raised by the state of California. AA has been my first job I've ever had outside of prison. Was due to Alcoholics Anonymous. A guy named Frank Carlisi gave me a job over at a wrecking yard in the San Fernando Valley. I knew nothing about cars. He paid me to shoot pool. I used to shoot pool, hang out. Yeah. But his kids were in AA. He was in, his wife was in AA, and that's it. They gave me a job. Now, you can talk about this program any way you want. I'll tell you from where I came from as to where I'm at. I'm putting in a swimming pool. And I'm not bragging. Believe me. I'm putting in a swimming pool in our house, my wife and I said, that probably costs more than most people make in a year. And I'm not saying that bragging, because it's the worst thing I've ever done. Because I walk outside in the backyard and I start crying. Because I go back to remembering that swimming pool in Tracy. There was a swimming pool in Tracy that the bottom was all green, had like moss. And it was the easiest place in the world to get killed because there was a fence around that pool and the guards couldn't get in there that quick. So if you went swimming, all you kind of did was just stand around the fence. And everybody's, all right, everybody in the pool. Nobody moved. Yeah, right, okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. And you knew that the water was so green that, probably that the creature from the Black Lagoon lived in there anyway. So and that was it. And every time I walk into my backyard, I think about that swimming pool. Do you know what I mean? And I start like crying. My life from where I'm at because of this program and only because of this program is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I got married about 6 years ago, and it's like beautiful. I had 3 children from previous relations. I can't even call them relationship. Previous stuff, and I had these 3 great kids. And they fell in love with their stepmom. And like my life just like all of a sudden took this turn to where I started learning about relationships. I realized a relationship, you have to like do stuff. You have to like come home. You have to like just have one. You have to be monogamous. Do all this stuff that is like really heartwarming. I got angry at my wife one time, and I said, all of a sudden, because I got all these guys that talk to me, and every once in a while they wake up before me. And when they wake up before me, then they got a head start. So, like, I'm screwed that day, And this one day they were like, do you know who you are? Hey, boy. And she said something, I said, do you know who you're talking to? Are you crazy? I said, kids, come on. And I was going to take the kids and go. They both looked at me and said, why do we have to go? little traitors. I left. I went to the park. I sat in the park, and the thought hit me, all I need now, sitting in this park, is a bottle of wine. I'm thinking about it, see? This is dumb. And it's like, you gotta learn that this program is like the most beautifulest thing that has ever happened to me. Do you understand? Most beautifulest thing that's ever happened to me. And it is like giving me a life that I can't get used to. I wake up in the morning giggling. I wake up in the morning, I got a view that it reminds me of places I ain't never been, and I've been all over the world. Wham, there are palm trees out there, shit. Looks like Cabo San Lucas. Today it looks like Bali. Oh hell, South Africa. We've been all over the world. All over the world. Because of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, see? And the longer you stay around, the more you start realizing that the simpler it is. You know what I mean? The simpler it is. I wish so bad, I'm gonna tell you something, I wish so bad that I could take credit for this. Now you think about it, 34 years, I wish I could stand up here and the way you do this, listen to me, because I know, see, God, oh, it's because I did it, oh God, I love doing that. Can't. The same stuff that they told me when I came in is the same stuff that's working now. Honesty, open-mindedness, willingness to try, work the steps, pray in the morning, do you know what I mean? Pray during the day, and pray in the evening. I pray all the time. I pray all the time. And they talk about go to meetings until you like going to meetings. I love going to meetings. Do you understand? I love going to meetings. I love sitting, drinking coffee. I love it. There's nothing about the program of Alcoholics Anonymous that I don't love. If you're new, I suggest you go to a lot of meetings. If you're new, I suggest you go to a lot of meetings. Si eres nuevo, yo quiero que vayas a muchas juntas. If you're new, I suggest you go to a lot of meetings. And the reason I say that is because when you're new, that's not what you hear. When you're new and somebody says that, you hear, and naturally you're sitting next to someone else that's new, so you ask them, what do you say? And they, I don't know. See? But if you're new, just go to a lot of meetings, and it'll happen. Good things will come to pass. God bless you. Thank you very, very much.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.